Russell Brand defends Bruce Jenner. Check it out.
What this does is it sanctions people being judgmental and cruel towards transgender folk, because it's like, well, this is mainstream media. Mainstream media that's the established form of communication and judgment. That's the stream. It's the mainstream that there is. So now when people sort of see someone in the street who's transgender, then it's like, what's my opinion on transgender again? It's to point and judge.
All right, so if you guys have been paying any attention to any of the tabloids, for instance, In Touch Weekly, they ran a photoshopped picture of Bruce Jenner on the cover, and he was photoshopped. It was the woman from Dynasty, right? I believe that the actress from Dynasty.
Definitely wasn't the man from Dynasty.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they photoshopped him, you know, because everybody's, you know, speculating, saying that he is in the transition to becoming trans. And when's he going to become trans? When is he going to come out? Why is he shaving his Adam's apple? Blah, 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 blah. It's the way people are attacking him that really launched this video from Russell Brand. So, for instance, Russell Brand says, transphobia seems to be the most recent and encouraged form of prejudice now that racism and homophobia are not tolerated. He also gave a really stern warning, okay, in this video. He says that this constant attention to Bruce's changing looks could drive him to suicide, okay? And the way it's being covered, how it's not being covered sensitively, that people are, oh, is he gonna become a woman now? I believe he showcased that in the video. I think that was from Holly Scoop, and they actually asked the viewers, if you think that Bruce Jenner is becoming a woman, please let us know. And it's that insensitivity that Russell Brand is really trying to warn everybody about. And he's calling it bullying. Okay, so what did you guys think about Russell Brand's video and how the media is portraying Bruce Jenner at this moment?
As someone who tells a lot of jokes, it's tough. This is what happens. I think laziness breeds a lot of what he's going after. I think a lot of people are just lazy. And when they see something that's different, the first thing they're gonna do if it's different from them is just jump on it and make tons of fun of it without really thinking of the consequences.
Yeah. And
the more that different people are doing it, the more okay it seems. I really liked his statements that the mainstream media, what TMZ is mainstream. It's Fox television in the middle of the day, not Fox News. This is like Fox Network. And if people see folks like Harvey Levin and TMZ going after Bruce Jenner without giving it a second thought, then they're more likely to do it themselves, and it'll just propagate forever. And that is dangerous, and I agree.
Yeah,
completely. I mean, as you know, Sam, I'm a trans LGBT activist, and this whole story has broken my heart from the day one. First as a father, and then also working with our community, because you don't realize what type of damage these comments do. And transphobia is one of those last frontiers that we have to get over, because as you know, and I've talked about this on Dr. Drew, almost 70% of trans youth commit suicide.
70%? Can you say that really clear?
Almost 70%. And so when you're looking at, if I'm a young trans person and I'm looking at what you're doing with speculation of this man, of course, I'm never going to feel comfortable in identifying as my truth and living my truth. And I'm going to think there's no way out, because if he can't do it and he's a Kardashian and he's rich and he's won a gold medal, then there's no hope for me.
Oh, but here's the thing.
Robs my heart.
Is he is doing it, and he's not putting up a fight. He's not saying anything about it. And I think bravo to him, because he's not taking for it. He's doing his thing, and he doesn't owe us anything.
He doesn't owe us anything.
But has he said that he's actually
We don't know that. So whether
he's just being himself.
Yeah. Whether it's a matter of self-expression or whether it's a matter that he is in a transition to become trans, let him do that on his own accord. And I agree with you. But we don't know what he's going through. So yeah, because he's not saying anything at all, that's great that he's not playing into it, but he's got to be in his own personal hell seeing those headlines. Maybe he doesn't read them at all, and I hope he doesn't, but I think the bigger picture here and what Russell Brand is pointing to, and we've all said the same thing here in so many words, is the very fact that, wow, what kind of precedent does that set for other people that may, be struggling with their identity too, or youth that may want to come and tell their parents. Are they going to tell their parents after they see how Bruce Jenner's being bullied? No.
I want to make
I
want to make a point of what it does to the bully. I think that this kind of mindset that Russell Brand's talking about, it's like making fun of people and bullying. It's like alcohol, because it makes you feel good immediately. Like, it's one of those things you try it, oh, it makes me feel awesome. It makes me feel better than the person I'm making fun of. But I think over time, it just becomes toxic in your system.
Oh, yeah.
And it turns you into something that you don't want to be. And after a while, you realize when you're looking at your own actions and how you've been behaving, after a while of just tearing people down, you feel awful.
Good.
And some people get in the same way that alcoholism affects people in a family situation. Like, you get violent, you get terrible, you just amplify the problem over time.
You're right.
And so I think people need to look at it in themselves. If it's between making fun of someone for something superficial just because you get that quick rush off it, don't do it. Now, if you have a deeper point about it, if you've thought it through and you think someone is being hypocritical, or there's a larger point you can make through your humor or whatever, do that.
Right.
But in situations like this, it's very clear that folks just don't feel good about themselves and they're trying to put someone else down.
And that's not the way to do it. It's really dangerous. And Amir had a really good question that I want to actually ask you.
Yeah.
The fact that in this day and age, we become sensitive, and I love that, but sometimes almost hypersensitive, where if somebody says something about another celebrity, you always almost have somebody else jump on that bandwagon to defend them. We haven't seen that necessarily with Bruce Jenner. And do you think it's because it's a transgender issue?
Completely. I mean, most people in society, unfortunately, are still uncomfortable with the thought of someone transitioning to their proper sex. It's something that in middle America, they're not comfortable with. They're like, I don't get it. I don't understand. If you're born this way, then how could you be this way? And none of them have taken the time to be educated on that. And so even though a lot of people are like, gay rights, lesbian rights, they don't understand what it is for someone to identify in their mind as a certain sex and then want to see that on the outside. And so it's hard for them to defend that because they don't have the words to articulate it. And so I think if they just took it down to what you said and to, I don't want to be ugly about someone else because it makes me ugly, then I think that more celebrities would step up.
Yeah, I love that.
It's just really, really sad because for everybody, we all have something about ourselves that I'm sure we would like to change or improve upon, or just some deep insecurity. And it's like, imagine if that was out there and people were just picking on it all the time.
I know.
How would that make you feel? So how can you feel comfortable shitting all over somebody that you don't know?
Right. And I love Russell Brand for putting out this video. Bravo. 2 points for Russell Brand because I want him on our scoreboard. And he's on my team. Boom, boom. Yes, you guys got it.
Russell Brand.
I got Russell Brand and who else?
Damn it.
Who else? I got somebody else really good too. I have Jamie Lynn Spears because she broke up the fight.
Jamie Lynn Spears and Russell Brand. So you realize you picked twice. I think you should
That's
sit
okay.
out.
Are
You
you
guys-
getting dream teams?
Yeah.
Because I want to be in on this dream team.
Yeah, if
It
you're
has
seeing
to be
anything-
a story that we're talking about.
Boom.
So, yeah.
It's just good that, yeah, you have like the shit like TMZ, but then you also have like really great examples like on Degrassi. One of their main characters is a transgender teen. And the way everybody treated that character on the show was just with 100% respect. And yeah, that character went through a lot on the show because it's a drama, but he had his friends and family totally supportive, and it was such a great example. And then you have Transparent, and it's just, I mean, these really positive examples are also out there.
Yeah.
So that's it's important.
And I just want to also say, on behalf of the LGBT community, kudos to Russell for bullying not being part of his brand.
Yes.
And like telling people that that's not okay. Kudos to him.
Yeah.
And then I think the reason that people go after transgender is for the reasons that Russell Brand says. I think a lot of folks also who have insecurities in themselves get threatened by someone who is showing that they're facing something that they're going through head on. People who are transitioning publicly in the open, I think that makes some people who have insecurities within themselves even that much more insecure and more likely to lash out.
Wow.
So I think if that is what your dynamic is internally, then you need to be honest with yourself that you're being an asshole because you're afraid. And you're afraid to focus on this and give someone credit for doing something you don't have the courage.
Yep, it's projection
Brad.
at its worst. But you can become a better person and evolve. So please let that be a moment where you're self-aware. Then you go get some help. You go talk to somebody, please. Okay, so is that it for us today or no? Oh, okay. So you guys, please share your thoughts in the comment section below. Also share your stories, especially if you're struggling with coming out or even maybe you're transitioning right now. We would love to hear your story and just your thoughts in general.